Hello and welcome, viewers and subscribers of AVT News. I'm happy to be back with you here. We had taken a bit of a break on the updates, especially on the ZEP applications for waivers and permits. But because we continue getting some questions and more advice, more information rather regarding the permit applications and what you should be doing. We came back here because we needed to update you, or we felt we needed to update you. Only Singube is the name for those who are meeting me for the first time. So we've got a few issues that we would like to raise with you based on our communication with the DHA and the VFS as well, pertaining to applications for the ZEP. But before we go ahead, let me request again that you are subscribed to this channel, like this video and share it. The main questions that we are getting is, following the court case, what should Zimbabweans be doing in the meanwhile while they await the appeal by the minister? The second question is, how long does it take for people who applied for the waivers to get their responses? And the third one is, do we have anybody who has applied for a waiver and has been granted a positive outcome? The other one being, should people continue applying, or did the minister take the decision to extend the ZEP to December 31 based on the court case that was still looming? So we're going to answer these questions in no particular order. But what we can tell you is that, according to the Department of Home Affairs, the reason why the ZEP was extended was mainly because of there was a huge backlog of people who had applied, as we said last time, of people who had applied and had not yet been granted responses. They've not been given any responses. And we're talking about people, some of whom applied as early as last year, when the directive for them to apply for waivers was given. And then when the days drew to a close, as we approached the 30th of June, which was the initial deadline, or the initial second deadline, there was an upsurge in the number of people that were making their applications and trying to book their appointments and even paying. So the minister decided that it would not be fair for these people to be shut out. And you'd remember that there was a serious problem at VFS of dates not being available, people not being given slots for them to book their appointments because of a huge backlog at VFS for people who were going there already, having been given or granted their slots. So there was no way that these people could have been shut out. But now, after the extension, there seems also to have been a lull again in the number of applicants that are applying for waivers. And the latest information is that about 3% of people who are on ZEP have made their applications for either a waiver or a work permit, which means a whooping 97% of Zimbabweans are yet to take a decision to either apply for a waiver or a permit. So this is another worrying factor, because the dates that have been given both by the minister, which is the 31st of December, or by the court, which is the 30th of June next year, will, if the decision to cancel the ZEP is upheld, not be enough again for people to apply. We have realized that Zimbabweans seem to love a lot taking last minute decisions. When they have ample time, they take time to do what they are supposed to do. And what it means is that by the 31st of December, people would not have yet applied for either a waiver or a permit. By the 30th of June as well, they might not have applied as well, because some of them are saying that they're waiting for the court case to be finished. Fine, that is your decision to take. There are others who are saying that they still have time. They are going to apply as the days draw closer. That is where the problem is. If you have decided that you want to apply, regardless of the court decision, this is the time for you to apply, because it takes a very long time for people to be granted waivers. There are people who applied in May last year who are yet to be granted a decision, whether negative or positive. There are people who applied this year who have not yet been given any decision. But of course, moving on to the question that do we have anybody who has applied and has been granted a waiver? We have plenty of people that say they've applied. We have seen some of the waivers that they've been granted to go in and apply for any mainstream South African permit that they believe they may qualify for. We talk about here office assistants, we talk about teachers, we talk about even domestic workers that have been granted these waivers to go on and apply. We're talking about a handyman, we're talking about plumbers, fitters and tanners, having been given some of these. There are also others who applied for business waivers for as long as you have a company that is registered and is compliant with South African laws in terms of running businesses, even if you don't meet the 5 million rand threshold. There are many who have been granted these waivers, but when they got the waivers, they were given an option to continue to apply for a business permit or a work visa, depending on their preferences, let me say. The other thing is that we have spoken to some migration lawyers and some migration firms, and they are saying that for as long as the decision to cancel the ZEP has not been completely overturned by the court, Zimbabweans need to continue to apply for the waivers, because at the end of the day, if they are told to move on to the next permit, there will be a way of reimbursing them the money that they already paid for the waiver, which means that they still have an option even after the court has decided to either overturn or uphold the decision by the minister to not renew the ZEP, because they're saying that at the end of the day, whatever decision is going to be arrived at will take into consideration the executive arm of government, which is the minister being empowered to make certain decisions in that portfolio. So they are saying that because it takes between 4 and 7 months for people who apply for waivers to get an outcome, be it positive or negative, that is considering that the VFS and Home Affairs will be very, very effective in their portfolios. It will therefore mean that people need to take advantage of the time that they've been given. But we also need to factor in the ineffectiveness of VFS and Home Affairs. We realized last time that when people were applying in their droves, they couldn't get any dates for them to go and submit, because there was a serious backlog which VFS officials could not meet at that particular time. The demand was too high for them to handle. We are talking about also incapacitation of some of these VFS offices because of the high number of people applying. We must consider that it's not only ZEP holders who are applying for waivers and permits, it's also some mainstream applicants who are also seeking these services. So at the end of the day, VFS officials buckle under pressure and they cannot attend to you as you come in your drops. So that is the reason why the lawyers are saying people must continue to apply and take advantage of this time, so that it gives ample time for decisions to be taken and for them to apply again for the mainstream permits after having been granted the waivers. So this is what we had for you. If we didn't answer some of the questions, please feel free to ask them again on the comment section underneath this video, or to go to our page on Facebook, AVG News. Ask your questions there and we are going to respond to them. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video and share it.